Welcome everybody, this is Seattle 26723. This is the Glendronach Parliament, age 21. We did the which whiskey review would you like to see, and there was actually a tie at the deadline for the whiskey review. And it was between the Glendronach 21 and the Red Press. I will be reviewing both of them, and then there was votes that were added for the Red Press after the deadline. So we're still going to do them both. This right here, Glendronach Parliament, 21 years of age, matured in a combination of the finest Oloroso and Pedro Jimenez sherry cask. A very fine 21-year-old whiskey, if you ask me. I'll be giving you the nosing notes, tasting notes, and a finish. Oh, by the way, this particular bottle was purchased in the United Kingdom. I cannot source this here in my location, so I had to go abroad to pick this up. Now, if you're familiar with Glendronach, they do a lot of sherries. They do a lot of good things with those particular whiskeys. That's kind of their stock in trade is sherry, Oloroso, Pedro Jimenez, and just overall good dark fruity chocolate coffee type notes. I expect with this particular 21-year-old to actually get some pretty older notes with it. To the review. On the nose, I'm getting, and I've got my notes here, a little bit of lemon. There's a complexity to this particular whiskey. Toasted oak. Like a little bit of earthy smell with walnuts and some espresso. That's what I'm getting on the nose. Now to see if I can open this up a little bit, we'll go ahead and we'll add a little bit of a splash of water to it after I do the tasting notes. We'll go over it twice because I want to see what it's really got. And I played with this whiskey for a while, so I know it does help. Now the rule of thumb is when you pour whiskey, also an aged whiskey like this, because of the age, it's always good to let it sit for up to 1 minute for each minute that it's aged. But because this particular whiskey has got this much room in it, it's had a chance to oxidize and kind of settle in, so I know where it's at. You know, a tad bit splash of water and the notes open up quite lovely on this 21-year-old from Glendronach. I'm using Fiji if you wanted to know. So we'll just set that right there. Gentle stroll around the glass. Stroll. There's your cocoa notes. Your chocolate. The lemon calms down. It gets more balanced with the wood spice. And the walnuts immediately balances it out. Just that little bit of water. Just give it a taste. on the arrival. Syrupy, cocoa. Then it begins to develop with that raisin, about mid palate. A little bit of tangy oak, sherry, cherry, cocoa, a little bit of mid spice in that palate. But your finish is a little bit more. One more time to get that finish just right, because I got the cocoa, the chocolate, a little peppery, just a tad, but it was balanced. The cocoa kind of overshadowed it, but it's still finishing. A little bit more. Yeah, that's it. It has a hint of a little bit of hint of cocoa finishing out of the mid palate into a little bit of cocoa, then a little bit of sulfur. It came across as a little peppery, but it finishes out with cocoa, a nice bit of pepper, a small note, if you look for it, of a little bit of sulfur. Now, when I first started with this particular whiskey, and I don't want to take this video too long, but when I first opened it up and I first was drinking it, I was getting those stronger sulfur notes. But now that the bottle has had enough time to calm down and oxidize, it's neutralized that sulfur. You have to really look for it. I just took a little bit and let it go straight to the back, so that way I can get the finish. It's barely there, which is a good thing. So the oxidation at this point has helped it. I think that once it gets to the 1/4 mark here, once your bottles get about here, then you want to have friends and stuff over and you want to finish it. It's been my experience with the sherry drinks, with the sherry whiskey, because if not, it will start to go flat. Just my experience, what I've seen so far with some of the bottles I have, the Macallan 18 I have, it's gone flat. So I know once it reaches this point, invite some people over, finish it off. But it's definitely a bottle worth persevering. If you like the chocolate, the dark notes, the heavy notes, the raisins, the cocoa, the dark chocolate, the milk chocolate notes, with a little bit of wood spice, subtle notes of honey, and tangy oak, this is a drink for you. Well, this has gone on for 8 minutes and 43 seconds. I'm going to get on up out of here. Thank you very much for checking out this review. And this especially goes out to Montreal Malt Reviews.